be okay. She just took a really hard noggin on the head. Hello? Hello in there. Yeah, she's coming to now. Do you know where you are? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have to, well, my name is Dr. Angelica. You're currently at the Super Bowl. A football hit you in the head. Blunt trauma on the brain. So just to make sure that everything's working properly and that, you know, there isn't any major concern at the moment, I'm going to just administer a small cranial nerve exam, but I will be following up with this with a more thorough examination if you want. Okay, so for right now, let's keep it to the cranial nerve exam, and then I'll schedule in for a more physical routine checkup just to make sure that everything's all right. Perhaps even get your brain scanned just to make sure that there isn't any damage there. Okay? Perfect. You had a dream? It was a bit, yeah, that tends to happen. Here, while I administer the cranial nerve exam, you tell me all about the dream you had and everything that happened inside of it. How does that sound? Perfect. Okay, but once again, I must ask your consent to perform this cranial nerve exam. Okay, great. So, before we start, I'm going to just break down the cranial nerve exam. First, we're going to be focusing on the sight, sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of hearing, and then sense of touch. I just want to make sure that all of your olfactory nerves are working perfectly. Rather, all of your cranial nerves are working perfectly to make sure that they aren't damaged from the blunt trauma of the football hitting your face. Yeah. For example, if you end up having a bit of damage to the old noggin, your sense of smell might go away, which might indicate that there is a blockage now in your sense of in your nose, or that the palate inside of your nose is now inflamed, which could lead to other medical issues. But just to prevent anything from, you know, being unchecked, I'm going to just kind of do a routine checkup on you, just very thorough. This should be a relaxing process. It shouldn't take up too much time. Yeah, maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah, but of course, I want to also listen to your story. So before we begin, let me grab my flashlight, and actually I'm going to also pull my hair out of the way, okay? I'm just gonna pull my hair quickly out of the way just so that way I can get a better look at you. Make sure that everything is working perfectly, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do to you, or rather do for you, is I'm going to raise up 2 fingers. I'm going to start wiggling them, and then you just tell me which one is wiggling, either this finger or this finger, much like that, and you just point to whichever one is wiggling, okay? Okay, so I'm going to hold up my 2 fingers, and you just tell me which one is wiggling. Perfect. 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 You did amazing. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a thorough check into your eyes. I'm going to be looking at the back of your eyes just to make sure that there isn't any mass or any sort of swelling going on in the back, and making sure that your pupils are dilating properly. Okay? Perfect. Now you can take the opportunity as I'm examining your eyes to tell me what exactly was going on in your dream. Okay? Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to be getting really close to you with the flashlight in your eye, if that's alright with you. Okay, I'm going to be lifting up your eyelid much like this, okay? Perfect. Okay, I'm just going to lift up your eyelid, and I'm just going to go in, and I'm going to inspect a little bit. I hope the light isn't too bright for you. Okay. Alright, perfect. Whoa, really? Wow. Already sounds like an eventful dream. Okay, and I'm just going to be looking at the other eye. Okay, I'm just going to lift up this eyelid. Wow, okay. Okay. Now, would you mind looking up for me? Thank you. Perfect. Now for the other eye, I'm going to be lifting up this eye. Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to be lowering down the eyelid just to look, okay? I'm just going to be lowering this down just to look. Perfect. Now this eye. Perfect. Now I'm just going to be checking your pupil dilation. Okay, now for the other eye. Okay. Now I'm going to check your eye individually. Wow, that sounds like a Simpsons episode. Okay, so you dreamt that there was a pandemic. You dreamt that most Americans voted for a New York magnet. And then, what else? That there was almost a civil war practically that was starting to emanate. That is a bonkers dream. No, by no means. Currently, you are at the Super Bowl. Shakira and J-Lo just performed. The current president is someone who actually cares about human rights and actually cares about the people. We're trying to shift things so that way it's more ecological and green to make sure that this nation ends up prospering a little more and there's no more breathing problems and whatnot. And there is no pandemic at the current moment, not that I can think of. And I'm a doctor, you know, there isn't anything going outside. I mean, we have measurements in place to make sure that if there is a pandemic, we can take care of it quickly. Yes. Don't worry your little head. I know it seemed very real. I know it seemed like it was something that was, you know, like a real life experience. Oftentimes when you get a bonk onto the head and you end up going to sleep, a lot of people end up coming out thinking that they had lived an entire life. And when they wake up, they're kind of shocked that it didn't happen. Yeah, have you by chance watched any Rick and Morty? Well, there's an episode of Rick and Morty where they end up going into this video game simulation. I'm just going to cover one of your eyes. Where they end up going into a video game simulation, and now you just tell me once again if my finger is wiggling. Okay, just tell me when it does. Okay, perfect. 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 And I'm just going to be moving my finger around, okay? Okay. Yeah, there's a video game in Rick and Morty where they simulate an entire person's life. And when you're in the game, you actually do think you're that character until you lose, and then you end up kind of, you know, going back to reality, and you kind of are in shock that it was just a video game. Much the same with dreams and a bonk to the head and any sort of, now for the other eye, okay? And any sort of thing like that. You feel like it's real, but, you know, it's just a dream. Just a dream. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you took a really good bonk to the head too. You got a little bit of a bruise there. Yeah, I mean, if they didn't miss the kickoff, perhaps you would have just been sitting down at the Super Bowl just watching it happen, right? Right. Okay, so I think your eyes are pretty much good. You were able to follow my finger. Your pupils dilated properly. There was no mass or any clot found in the back of your head, of your eyes. Perfectly clear. You were able to determine which finger was wiggling. Both sides of your eyes. Both eyes were working just fine. So we're going to be moving to your sense of smell now. I brought with me a couple of scents. You just tell me what the name of that scent is, or as close as possible to that scent, okay? This is just to examine if there's any blockage in the nose. Perfect, okay? So here, let's start off with an easier one first. Okay? Are you allergic to any perfumes or any sort of scents? No? Okay, perfect. I'm just going to be spraying this. Looks like the football stadium is starting to turn off the lights. Do you know what that smell is? Take a long, deep breath, just, and then breathe out. Lavender, perfect. Now I'm going to be choosing another scent, okay? Just to kind of like get the scent out of the air. Granted, who knows how effective it is, but it works in my brain, so I'm just going to be doing it. So, I'm just going to be spraying another scent. How does that smell? Right. Cherry blossom. Perfect. You've been to literally any perfume shop ever. Okay, I'm going to put that to the side. You're so far doing a great job. Now, take a deep breath in with me. Hold it. And take an even longer breath out. Perfect. Once more. Take a deep breath in. Hold it. Now take a deep and longer breath out. You're doing absolutely wonderful. Now, we're going to be examining another scent here. What does that smell like? Watermelon. Perfect. Now, for the last smell, take a deep breath in, hold, and then take a deep breath out. Take a deep breath in, hold, now take a deep breath out. Perfect. So this is going to be the final scent. What does that smell like? Black cherry. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm going to be examining your mouth and your sense of taste. So I'm going to be quickly just examining your tongue, making sure that everything's going on, that nothing's red, nothing is inflamed, nothing is sore in the back of your throat, that nothing is inflamed or swollen. And then I'm going to be examining your sense of taste. I'm going to be just grabbing a little bit of a cup, putting my finger inside a sort of like a swab of lemon, and then a swab of other substances which I won't name in order for you to name them yourself. And then you just tell me what those flavors are, okay? Perfect. Now if you do me the favor of just opening your mouth as big as you can. No judgment here, just open your mouth just for me to examine it, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna examine your mouth really quick. Would you mind going ah? Just saying ah, just so I can get a little bit of a better look. Perfect. You're doing wonderful. Everything looks good inside of there. I'm just gonna get a little bit of a closer look. Perfect. Now would you mind raising your tongue all the way to the roof of your mouth, just like that. Perfect. Just going to be, there we go. Yeah, if you can hear a kitty in the back, I brought my kitty to the Super Bowl. I took it at him like my child, a child seat. He wants to play right now, so he might be a little bit like, but, children have to learn that there's a time for play and there's time for mommy to work. Okay, so I'm just going to be grabbing a swab here, and I'm going to be dipping it in different flavors. And you just tell me which flavor you taste. Now, before we begin, is there anything that you're allergic to? Any taste, any flavors, any substances that you're allergic to? Okay, perfect. I'm just going to be grabbing the swab now, and I'm just going to be dipping it right into this flavor. And I'm just going to be dragging it across your tongue. We're going to do 4 substances, okay? Perfect. Now, would you mind opening your tongue, or opening your mouth, really? Thank you. I'm just going to be swabbing it in. Swabbing it in, 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 swabbing it in. And do you, can you identify that taste for me? Okay, perfect. Yep, it was caramel. Now I'm just going to be taking another one. There we go. And I'm just going to be, take a swallow for me, please. A big swallow. Just cleanse your palate. Perfect. I would offer you some water, but I'm afraid that they didn't give me any water in the Super Bowl. That's a lie. The water here is just like $4, and I refuse to buy $4 water. It's a ripoff. So I'm just going to be swabbing it in. Now, can you tell me the taste of that? Correct. Red apples. Now I'm going to be grabbing another substance, and I'm just going to be swabbing it in. And I'm just going to be swabbing it on your tongue again, but once again, before I do, just take a big swallow and let it pass through. Cleanse your palate. Perfect. And now I'm just going to be putting another substance on your tongue. Okay. Back and forth, back and forth, Now, can you tell me what that taste is? Vanilla. Perfect. Now for the last one, I'm going to be taking another substance. Okay. Take a big swallow for me. Just a nice swallow. Perfect. And I'm just going to be swabbing the last substance on your tongue. Okay. Perfect. Okay, just going to be swabbing the last substance right there. Now, what's that taste? Cinnamon. Perfect. Give me one moment. I'm going to ask the Super Bowl stadium owners if they could turn on the lights just for a quick bit. That way I can have a proper light to examine you with. Okay. Great. I'm just going to be walking away for 2 seconds. William, would you mind keeping... I'm sorry, what was your name? Lovely to meet you. Would you mind keeping her company, please? Yeah, I'm just gonna be over there just talking to the manager. Just a couple meters away. Yeah, I just want to make sure that she's okay, that she doesn't fall asleep or anything like that. Perfect, thank you. I'll be gone for probably like 2 minutes. And then just like right over there. Okay, perfect. Excellent. They gave us the chance to use the light for just like a couple minutes more. So I'm going to try and see how much I can examine with the light, and then if the light goes away, then I'll just examine you without the light. Okay? Perfect. Okay, so we examined your sense of sight, smell, and taste. Now we're going to be examining your sense of hearing, okay? Perfect. I'm just going to be snapping my fingers around your ears. You just tell me which one is snapping. I'm going to put my hands next to your ears. Snap, 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 snap. You just tell me which one snapped, okay? Do you have any hearing or auditory issues, any sensitivities, perchance? Any sort of like overstimulation? Okay, perfect. I thought that they would give me a little bit more time, but apparently not. That's fine. Nonetheless, we don't need the light to examine the hearing. It's perfectly okay. Okay? Perfect. So I'm just going to be getting a little closer to you, and you just tell me which finger is snapping, okay? And which ear. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to try to do it a little softly just in case. Okay? Perfect. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Perfect. Now I'm going to be whispering in each ear, and I'm going to be saying very simple phrases like letters or numbers. And you just tell me whether I said a letter or a number. Okay? Perfect. A. Perfect. 3. Mm-hmm. D. Mm-hmm. 7. Mm-hmm. Z. Mm-hmm. 6. Mm-hmm. M. Mm-hmm. 6. Mm-hmm. A. Mm-hmm. 6. Perfect. Now I'm going to be examining your sense of touch. This will be the last exam we conduct, and in this exam we're just going to be examining whether your sense of touch has been affected or not. Yeah, whether you can perceive if something is sharp or dull. Okay? Nothing is going to be too sharp, though. It's not going to be something to penetrate or really harm your skin. It'll just be something a little more pointy, where you can feel its pointiness, and as opposed to the dullness of the opposite sense. Okay? Perfect. So, I'm going to be using, let's see, one of my rings, actually. I'm going to be using this part of my ring, if you can see it right there. This little pointy bit right there. And then I'm just going to be using this little dull jewel piece right here to sort of test your skin. And you just tell me whether you're feeling the pointier ring or the jeweled duller ring. Okay, perfect. You are so far doing amazing. So far there's nothing of concern popping up. If there is, I would tell you, but I still want to lead off with or follow up with a physical exam and perhaps even a brain exam, just to make sure that everything's in order. Do you feel at all faint? You're doing good. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to be touching your face. Now, is that sharp or dull? Okay. Now, is that sharp or dull? Okay, perfect. There we go. Sharp or dull? Perfect. Oh, my apologies. You did such a great job following up with me. I should have explained it a little more and asked for your consent, but you really picked it up as if, it was secondhand, so I appreciate that. So, let's continue on with the test if you're ready. Perfect. Sharp or dull? Perfect. Sharp or dull? Perfect. Sharp or dull? Perfect. Sharp or dull? Perfect. I'm just gonna put my rings right on back. You did excellent. There is nothing of concern. There is that bruise on your head. I would say just put something cold on it, like an ice pack or something, just to make sure that the swelling can go down, and that it might kind of counteract the heat coming from the bruise. But aside from that, you did wonderful. My name is once again Dr. Angelica. If you'd like, you can always visit my clinic. Yeah, it's on the corner of 1st and 2nd Street. Yeah, if you want, you can always go and visit me. My doors are wide open for you. I'll obviously remember you as soon as you tell me you're the girl from the football stadium that kid with the football, the kickoff, and I'll just properly examine you there. Okay? Perfect. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay? Great. And in fact, I would even follow up with your regular GP just to make sure that you didn't get any internal brain damage, just in case, before bed. That way it's like, if you go to bed, it's something that you can properly and safely do. Alright, perfect. Well, until that point, I hope to see you again, or rather not see you again. That's the life of a doctor. Do I want to see you again, or do I not want to see you again? And I hope you take care. Okay?